Hey, um, so I figured I'd show everyone the difference in what the stimulation system, the deep brain stimulator that I have, is doing for me now versus what I would normally be like without it. It's my own personal little parlor trick that I have now. Anyway, um, there's pictures on Facebook of me after the brain surgery and stuff. You've seen the scar and all that stuff, but you haven't seen the chest part. Um, so if you'll allow me, um, so it's just right here. Actually, I have my fingers here around the actual battery. So it's like in my chest. It's about that big. It's a scar where they put it in every 4 or 5 years, depending on the battery life, really. Yeah, every 4 or 5 years, they're gonna have to go in and take the old one out and put a new one in. Um, so it won't be as big a deal as, of course, whenever they did the brain surgery, they're not gonna have to do that ever again. And then the first time I had this battery put in is when they led the wire from about here down my neck into my chest and then into the system here. You can kind of, I see the shadow a little bit. You can see where the wire is on me here, following that shadow. It's really kind of freaky, I guess. But so anyway, so that won't be such a big deal whenever we do that next in a couple of years. So anyway, um, this is part of the system. It's remote. It lets me check the status of my stimulator if it's turned on and functioning correctly, and battery life. I wish it gave me a percentage. Actually, this tells me the percentage of the batteries in the back. And so whenever I first started using this, the percentage, is at 100% for the first couple days, and it started getting lower, and it got to like 25%, and I was just freaked out because I thought it was the battery in my chest. And luckily, I finally read the instruction manual and found out that it was actually the batteries in here. So I yeah, that was kind of scary. But anyway, it tells me, if the battery's okay, or I guess, like it's starting to deplete itself. So, it does give me a percentage number, which would be really handy, but whatever. At least I can tell what it is. Anyway, you can also turn the system on and off with this. So, first, let me show you how I am now. Today's um, a pretty good day as far as what it's normally like with the stimulator on for me. Um, so, the system, I don't know if you watched my really long video on YouTube, the first one that I did, where I just demonstrated all the issues with it at that time whenever I was still on Klonopin. But this is a lot better. The Dr. Z, and we've discussed it a lot, and we have basically come to the conclusion that the big general motor control stuff is kind of in control in my arm now, and so we're trying to focus on fine-tuning little intricate things like fingers and fine movements. It's still a little difficult for me to like grab a doorknob and turn it, and I can't hold a glass straight in my hand that well. A lot better than it used to be, but there's always room for improvement. So anyway, so that's what we're trying to work on. But anyway, let me show you what it is like right now. Then I'll turn the system off, and you can see how quickly it changes, and then how much of a difference there is. Okay. I turn the system off, and it's like almost immediately gets bad, and then I turn it back on, and it's immediately better. It's pretty insane. It's really cool, and it's also really scary at the same time. But anyway, so this is the bad hand, the one that likes to move on its own, obviously. Um, if I hold it up like this, my body gets fatigued and everything, so it's going to move around a lot more. But, just general holding my hand out stuff is not really such a big deal. This is one of the big ones, being able to quickly shuffle through the fingers and stuff. I can't the control's a lot better in here than it used to be, but it's not perfect. At least I'm hitting the fingertips every time, and I'm not wildly missing or anything, you know. But um, yeah. So anyway, it's a lot better than it was. Now I'm going to turn the system off and let you see what happens with it, okay? So first you have to turn it on and do a check. You just put it on there and it tells me that the system is on and that the battery's okay. It tells me what the biggest voltage is right now, which is 2.96 volts. You know, I don't know what all that stuff really means, but yeah, anyway. Okay, so it's good to go. Now I'm going to turn it off. Okay, I'm going to hold my hand up and you can see immediately what happens. It's going to beep whenever it turns off. So, okay, now it's off. Just wait like a second and there it goes. I don't feel anything here or here whenever it's turned off, but it's obvious here in my arm. And whenever I'm standing, my leg gets a little jittery or weaker. And so this is it just moving by itself. If I were, you know, I'm trying to just keep it up my like my right hand here, but I can't. It's just all over the place. Yeah, so you know, I can't do that. I can't really keep a good thumbs up. It's just all over the place. So this is how bad it is naturally, without anything. Um, I haven't taken Klonopin since the surgery, thank goodness, because that was I was on a lot of Klonopin and it wasn't that great. But anyway, I'm going to turn it back on and it's going to fix itself pretty quickly. So here. Okay, it's back on now. Yeah, that quickly. It's like instant like that, and that's what it was like in the operating room whenever I was having the brain surgery. Whenever they put it in, they had to activate it just to make sure it was in the correct location and everything. And my arm, you know, was all over the place. They turned it on and it just stopped. And the coolest thing ever, you know, it was an operating room. So there was Dr. Wernke, Dr. Awad, and Dr. Z. My three main doctors. Dr. Wernke was the surgeon, and then like I think 8 or 9 nurses, if I remember right. And you know, it was loud. They were all talking. The machines were beeping and stuff. And they turned it on, and my arm stopped moving, and it got dead quiet, except for the machines and everything. But I mean, they just stopped. So anyway, so that's that. I've shown a lot of people that in person, but I figured I might as well do it this way, so people I don't see regularly will have a better chance to, a better opportunity to see it and see what it's doing for me. So anyway, thanks. I'll see you guys soon.